request a lot for fetal tissue. Because we had 2 levels of invoicing for them. We had it worded as per consent.
A scene from the latest undercover Planned Parenthood video. This is the newest video released by the Center for Medical Progress after 2 of its members were indicted by a Texas grand jury charged with tampering with a government record. One of those people, Sandra Merritt, turned herself in Wednesday, was freed on $2,000 bond. That same day, or that same grand jury investigated Planned Parenthood, concluding that organization did nothing wrong. So what's next? Joining us now via Skype, the founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, Mathew Staver. Matt is representing Sandra Merritt, who was indicted by that grand jury for her connection in the production of those undercover videos produced by the Center for Medical Progress. So Matt, your client and David DeLayden charged tampering with a governmental record. Now this is kind of curious because it was something akin to a fake driver's license and a standard tool in investigative journalism. What stirred up this grand jury to issue those indictments?
Well, we don't know what stirred up this grand jury. They were supposed to be focused on Planned Parenthood, not on the undercover individuals that revealed these videos. In fact, Sandra was never notified that she was even possibly a target of this grand jury. So there's lots of questions that we have. Discovery is going to reveal, I think, a very shaky case. The interesting thing that happened when we were in a court is just before we went to the judge, the district attorney offered to drop the felony charge, because that's what this is a charge of felony. For 2 to 20 years in prison is the penalty. Offered to drop the felony to a misdemeanor with some kind of thing to do, maybe community service, and then dismiss the case after the community service. Now, we haven't accepted that offer, but think about this. 10 days before we were in court, the grand jury indicted on a felony, the penalty of which is 2 to 20 years in prison. Before we even go to the judge 10 days later, the district attorney offers to reduce that felony to a misdemeanor and then eventually to dismiss the case without Sandra having to even enter a plea. What does that tell you? It tells you that the district attorney clearly does not want to take this thing to trial because this case doesn't have any merit, and we plan to get this case dismissed.
Well, especially, and look, I'm no lawyer, never played one on TV, but all these videos show people from Planned Parenthood discussing the sale of fetal tissue, which in and of itself, in addition to being ethically abhorrent, is criminal. So this selective viewing by the impaneled grand jury, well, it's just, I'll be diplomatic and say curious, to say the least.
There's no question. Planned Parenthood opened up the nation's largest abortion clinic right there in Houston. It's a multi-story building. They were the ones that were committing the crime. They're the ones that are engaging in the sale of human fetal body parts that they shouldn't be doing. They're the ones who are actually deceiving the women and actually selecting the specimens, is what they call them, trying to get intact human body organs because the price to get an intact liver or brain or other parts of the body, they get a higher price for it. And so they're on video. Clearly, they're the ones that should have been indicted. But instead, the people that were doing the journalistic undercover activity, which journalists do all the time, they're the ones that astoundingly mind-boggling, it just boggles your mind, they're the ones that were indicted. I can tell you what, this case will not ultimately succeed. We intend to be very vigorous in this. Liberty Counsel, we have our legal team on it. We've also associated 2 of the top criminal defense attorneys right there in Houston, attorneys that have had exceptional success on major high-profile cases. We're going full bore against this indictment because it's absolutely outrageous. If this were to succeed, for example...
And we understand your concern about this, and we want to stay in touch with you, Matt. We'll have to leave it right here for now, but come back and see us soon about this because it obviously is of great interest. We'll be back with more right after this.